The pre-lunch hours and post-lunch hours, both are very dangerous. And the session is almost to finish, and this is a time we are all looking forward, maybe, to have a wonderful lunch. But before that, I just want to take you 10 minutes. I'm Dr. Annie Thakur. I'm one of the small worker of CARE Group of Hospitals. When we talk about CARE Group of Hospitals, it is the biggest chain in India with 13 hospitals under the eminent leadership of Dr. B. Somaraju. And our chief mentor is Abdul Kalam, and our CEO, Dr. N. Krishna Reddy, and COO, Mr. Kasharaju. And this is because of their guidance, trainings, and all, we small people stand in front of you today. I just want to say a small story because I think I'm a little different than everybody's talk. So this is a Japanese story of the empty soap box. When we talk about patient, when we talk about safety, when we talk about quality, one of the most memorable case studies on Japanese management was the case of the empty soap box, which happened in one of Japan's biggest cosmetics companies. The company received a complaint that a consumer had bought a soap box that was empty. Immediately, the authorities isolated the problem to the assembly line, because we are very good in finding the faults, which transported all the packaged boxes of soap to the delivery department. For some reason, one soap box went through the assembly line empty. Management asked its engineers to solve the problem. Post haste, the engineers worked hard to devise an X-ray machine with a high-resolution monitors manned by 2 people to watch all the soap boxes that passed through the line to make sure they were not empty. No doubt, they worked hard and they worked fast, but they spent whoopee amount to do so. But when a workman was posed with the same problem, did not get into complication of X-rays, etc., but instead came out with another solution. He is not a big qualified engineer, he is not a big shot, but still he is using his intelligence. He bought a strong industrial electric fan and pointed it at the assembly line. He switched that fan on, and as each soap box passed the fan, it simply blew the empty boxes out of the line. So here I want to say, always look for simple solutions. Devise the simplest possible solution that solves the problem. So learn to focus on solutions, not on problems. If we look at what we do not have in quality and patient safety, we don't have anything, and we will never reach our goals. If we look at what we have, for example, the way our Indian economy supports us, maybe limited resources, limited funds, etc., etc., and what we can do for quality and patient safety, if you look into that direction, we have everything. And I put a word for NABH accreditation. It is one of the best resources available in India with us to achieve patient safety through quality. Almost all the points what I want to discuss is already discussed here, but few slides which I feel little important, I just want to have a quick review. So when we talk about patient safety and quality, by patient safety, we mean prevention of harm to patients while receiving health care. It is about eliminating preventable medical mistakes, guarding against the impact of human error, establishing systems to safeguard patients' health and well-being. So, sirs, we're talking about quality in the systematic way of doing the things. And sir was telling the quality is your attitude, but whereas I say it is the continuous improvement. When it comes to quality, there is no full stop. It's go on, go on, go on. Every time when we see something different, when we try to do something different, again, the quality matters. The patient safety can only be achieved by best quality practices where NABH accreditation plays a major role in healthcare delivery systems in India. I think when we talk about patient safety, the origin is from World Alliance for Patient Safety, was formed in 2004, but momentum to this movement came only after initiative was taken to include patients for patient safety in March 2006 in London Declaration. Further action of patients for patient safety was evident in Jakarta Declaration in July 2007. So I'll just take you what are the major declarations, because that Jakarta Declaration was the turning point where we talk about patient safety and the quality. So major points what they focused on was no patients should suffer preventable harm. Patients are at the center of all patient safety efforts. Fear of blame and punishment should not deter open and honest communication between patients and healthcare providers. Work in partnership in order to achieve the major behavioral and system changes to address patient safety in our region. Transparency, accountability, and human touch are paramount. Mutual trust and respect between healthcare professionals and patient. Then it comes to seventh, informed treatment so that patients participate in decisions related to their care. Patients should have access to their medical records. Reporting of medical errors and investigation with due respect to confidentiality. Providers involved in unintentional harm should receive support. Correct actions to prevent future harm and widely share lessons learned. Mechanism to fairly compensate the patient and the family and their family. Partnering media to encourage responsible reporting and to educate the public. Two-way communication among patients and healthcare providers. Meaningful patient representation on patient safety committees and forums. So our current challenges, I put into 4 points. One is lack of systems of patient safety in our hospitals and other healthcare institutions. Second, lack of awareness, realization of its importance, even among the healthcare providers. Third, no scientific database is available. Fourth, lack of dedicating funding for promoting patient safety. And a few areas of patient safety are already discussed here. I just put into a nutshell. One is safe clinical practices and hand hygiene. As sir said, it is one of the most important factors in preventing hospital-associated infections. Second, safe surgical practices. Third, blood safety. If you see in this matter, unsafe blood is a big threat, and this threat exists in almost all the hospitals of the country. We have framed guidelines and policies, but implementation needs to improve. Voluntary blood donation needs to be promoted. In our districts, we do not have sufficient number of licensed blood banks and blood storage facilities. Safe injection practices, that's again a biggest threat for the patient safety. Healthcare waste management. So when we put the quality and patient safety through 6 priorities, one is make care safer by reducing harm caused in the delivery of care, ensuring that care engage each person and family as partners, promoting effective communication and coordination of care, promoting most effective prevention and treatment practices for the leading causes of mortality, starting with cardiovascular diseases, working with communities to promote wide use of best practices to enable healthy living, making quality care more affordable for individuals, families, employers, and governments by developing and spreading new healthcare delivery models. These priorities can only be achieved with the active engagements of clinicians, patients, provider organizations, and many others in local communities across the country. So these three priorities we have put into different shells. One is priority, what is the initial goal, and what are the opportunities for success, and illustrative measures. So when we talk about safe care, it is eliminate preventable healthcare acquired conditions. So opportunities for our successes are eliminate hospital acquired infections, reduce the number of serious adverse medication errors. And the illustrative goes, like quality initiatives and accuracy in capturing quality indicators. Well designed by NABH. There are wonderful quality indicators designed by NABH. Incidents of serious adverse medication events. So when we go to the priority number 2, it is effective care coordination. Create a delivery system that is less fragmented and more coordinated, where handoffs are clear and patients and clinicians have the information they need to optimize the patient-clinician partnership. It's very important. The opportunities here are reduce preventable hospital admissions and readmissions, prevent and manage chronic illness and disability, ensure secure information exchange to facilitate efficient care delivery. Illustrative measures, all-cause readmissions within 30 days of discharge, percentage of providers who provide a summary record of care for transitions and referrals. Priority 3, person and family-centered care. Build a system that has the capacity to capture and act on patient-reported information, including preferences, desired outcomes, and experiences with healthcare. Integrate patient feedback on preferences, functional outcomes, and experiences of care into all care settings and care delivery. Increase use of electronic health records that capture the voice of the patient by integrated patient-generated data in electronic health records. Routinely measure patient engagement and self-management, shared decision-making, and patient reports outcomes. When we talk about quality and patient safety, the main area where we can understand what we are doing is with the outcome and the results. Percentage of patients, that is illustrative measures. What is the percentage of feedback you collect? When we go to the priority 4, prevention and treatment of leading causes of mortality. Prevent and reduce the harm caused by cardiovascular disease. Opportunities of success, increase blood pressure control in adults, reduce high cholesterol levels in adults, increase the use of aspirin to prevent cardiovascular diseases, decrease smoking among adults and adolescents. So here the illustrative measures comes like, it is supported by the clinical audits of the NABH. Percentage of patients ages between 18 years and older with ischemic vascular disease, whose most recent blood pressure during the measurement year is less than 140 by 90 or greater than. Percentage of patients with ischemic cardiac vascular disease whose most recent low density cholesterol is less than 100. Percentage of patients with ischemic vascular disease who have documentation of use of aspirin or other antithrombotic during the 12-month measurement period. Then the percentage of patients who receive evidence-based smoking cessation services. These are the just parameters or measuring scales we can capture. And priority?
We need to conclude.
Yes, sir. Priority number 5, supporting better health in communities. That is, support every Indian community as it pursues its local health priorities. So again, the measures is same. We need to see the percentage. And making care more affordable, that is, identify and apply measures that can serve as effective indicators of progress in reducing cost. So the cost effective to reach the community, it is yet to design. It is yet to develop. So here comes the last slide of mine, Journey of Care Hospital since 1997, under the eminent leadership of beloved chairman, Dr. Somaraju sir. Care group of hospitals heading towards a journey where the need of the hour, patient safety and quality with our mission statement. This is the mission of Care group of hospitals, to provide the best and cost-effective care accessible to every patient through integrated clinical practice, research and education, delivered with compassion, care and concern through team spirit and transparency. Thank you.
Thank you very much.